Hi, in this video, we are going to make a survey data dashboard in Power BI. Okay, so let's begin. So first of all, we are opening Power BI. This is the desktop version. Then we need to add the data. So the data, you can find it in the description down below, also in my GitHub profile, in my portfolio. And in this case, once we have opened the Power BI desktop program, we need to select import data from Excel. We choose the dataset, which I have it here, and we wait until it connects. Okay, so just to give a context, this survey is about the different roles for data professionals. So this survey was made to just compare the different professions. For example, data analysts, data scientists, data engineers, what's their salary, how much they work per month or per week, what's their age, what's their happiness level, the gender, the level of education they have, etc. So we have the data here. After selecting it, we are going to click on transform data. So here we are opening Power Query editor. And here we can see all the columns. So you have all of these columns. So the first step is to clean the data. Okay, so the first clean the data, we need to first select only the columns we will be working with. So unique ID, it's important. Email, in this case, because we don't have any information about emails, it's not important, so I will remove the column. Also, the date taken, I'll see what values it has. So it has only 3 values for 3 different months, but for our purpose, it's not important, so I will remove it. The time taken, also we have many times the survey was taken, but it's also not important to compare uh, the differences between different data professions. So browser, we don't have any values. OS, no, we don't have any values. And we don't have any values for all of these columns, so I'll just click one, and then with shift, I'll select the last one I want to remove, and I'll just click remove columns. Here is the time spent doing the survey, but this is also not important for us. I'll remove it. The next one, which title best fit your current role? Okay, this is important. It's actually the first question in the survey. And as you can see, we have many values. So in this case, we need to clean this column. But I'll get to that later. This second question is, did you switch careers into data? And this column is not important, so I will remove it. The question 3, current salary in US dollars. That's important. I will keep it, but I will clean it later. What industry do you work in? Let's see what values it has. Okay, has a lot of values. This column is important. I will keep it. The favorite programming language. We have a lot of programming languages. This is also important. I will keep it, but I'll clean it later. How happy are you in your current position? Uh, okay, this one, I'll I want to see what the full name of the follow of the column. Okay, how happy are you in your current position with the following salary? Okay, based on salary, how happy are they? This is important, I'll keep it. Question 6. How happy are you in your current position with the following work slash life balance? I'll keep it as well. Sixth question. How happy are you in your current position with the following with coworkers? Uh, okay, in this case, maybe this is not important. I mean, it's not a huge factor of to measure the happiness level in a current role. So I'll remove it. Next, it says, how happy are you in your current position with the following, with the management? Okay, this is also not important. I'll remove it. How happy are you with the upward mobility? Not so important for this project. And how happy are you with the following, learning new things? Also not important. Then this column, how difficult was it for you to break into data? Not important. If you were to look for a new job today, what will be the most important thing to you? Also not important. Okay, male or female, this is important. Current age, this is important, I'll keep it. Which country do you live in? This is also important, I'll keep it. Highest level of education. Okay, let's see what values we have. Okay, this is important, I will keep it as well. And ethnicity, it's not important, so I'll remove it. Okay, so the first step of cleaning the data is just to select the specific columns we'll be working with. Okay, so first of all, I'll clean this column. So we see with the values we have like 30, 40 values. We have, for example, the most important ones: data analyst, data architect, data engineer, data scientist, database developer, and student looking or none. And also in the survey, it was there was other option to specify other role they currently have. And we have a lot of different roles which the survey or could write specifically what role they have in or they are in. So okay, but in this case, um, instead of having all of these other values, we'll just have other. So that's important. So to do that, I'll just split column here by delimiter. And I'll just split column by custom, and then the parenthesis, the leftmost delimiter. So this splits the like using the limiter, the left parenthesis as a delimiter, it splits the column in two. So we have the left side of the delimiter and the right side of the delimiter. So now, as you can see, we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values. That looks so much better. I'll get rid of this one, and I'll just rename this column as current role. I'll check also the data type. So in this case, has to be text. Okay, the unique ID, it's just important just to identify every row. So this case, it has also needs to be text. And now the next column, the question 3, current salary, yearly salary in US dollars. Okay, so we have these values, but if we want to make, and also it's a text, as a, like the data type is text. So this is fine, but if we want to make calculations based on the salary, I don't know, maybe adding or subtracting or dividing or multiplying these numbers uh, for our analysis and for making our dashboard, this won't work. So we have to convert this into actual numbers. So first, I need to get rid of the K and the line. So for that, I will split columns by delimiter. And here I have this delimiter. So I'll split using that. So we have now the two values, the two numbers, or the two salaries. And for the first one, I also need to get rid of the letter K. So I'll split the columns again. I'll split this column using a custom value character as a delimiter. In this case, it's going to be the letter K, the each occurrence of the delimiter. So every time it appears, I'll click OK. And now I have just the number. And in this case, I have the case. So I will get rid of this column. And I'll do the same for the second half of the salary by delimiter, custom, OK. I'll get rid of the other column. So we have now two columns, and this one is the I will call it mean salary, and this one max salary, because as you saw previously, the two salaries were the range. So for example, this person which works as a data engineer, his salary ranges between 0 and 40, I believe, 40,000. Yeah, because there was the K. So that was the salary. And I don't know, maybe this one has a range, his salary or her salary is in the range between 41 and $65,000. So for this, I don't need the min and max salary because I just need one value as a salary. So in this case, I will create a new column here in add column, custom column, and I'll get the average between the mean salary or the minimum salary and the maximum salary. So in this case, in this window, I'll choose these two columns, mean salary, and I'll write a formula plus double click max salary. I'll wrap these two columns inside parentheses and I'll divide by 2. I'll click OK. And I have this new column, which I'll grab and drop, pick and drop. Right here. I'll change the name as average salary. And I'll also uh, change the data type as number. In this case, has to be decimal number because it also has decimals. So you can see it ranges from $20,000 to $187.5. Okay, so now I can get rid of min salary and max salary. Okay, so I have this. So in the case of what industry do you work in, I'll check the values, and we have agriculture, construction, education, finance, healthcare, others, a lot of other industries, real estate, tech, and telecommunications. Telecommunications. So we have to get rid of the other. We need to clean this column and just leave other as the value. So for that, I'll just do the same as I did uh, with the current role. So I'll transform, split by delimiter, custom, and I'll split by using the left parenthesis, and I just want the leftmost delimiter. Okay, so I have that. I'll check. So we have now agriculture, construction, education, finance, healthcare, other, real estate, tech, and telecommunication. Okay, I'll get rid of this column, and I'll rename the column with industry. And I'll check the data type, and it has to be text. Okay. Next, with the favorite programming language, I'll check the values, and it's also the same problem. We have other. So I need to get rid of other, but this time we don't have parentheses. So as you can see, between other and the programming language, it's that delimiter. I don't know how it's called in English. The uh, the double dots. Okay, let me just columns. Yeah. So we need to use the column as the delimiter. So I'll split the column again. Delimiter. I'll select column as the delimiter. And in this case, just the leftmost delimiter. So we have now the programming languages and other. In this case, we have the other programming languages. And as you can see, there is no, there are some responses or answers that are not useful. For example, someone said, I currently do not work with programming languages yet, or I don't know any, or I mean, I mostly work with in SQL and its variants. Other used MATLAB, none at the moment, PowerBi, SQL, unknown, VBA. So I'll get rid of this column, and I'll rename this column as programming language. And it needs to be text. Okay, so I'll check one more time, so everything looks fine. Okay, so I'll just keep myself a little bit, uh, I'll make myself smaller. Okay, next value, or sorry, next column. So we have, how happy are you in your current position with the following salary? Okay, so in this case, I'll just check. So we have null as a value. So let's see how many rows have null. Okay, so we can see that these people have null. So what we can do is that we can replace the null values, and there are some options. So I'll just click on replace values, and now I'll write null. Oh, sorry, it says enter a number value. So in this case, I need to okay, yeah, replace values and replace errors, no, or fill. Replace, where was it? Okay, so let me check again. Okay, so we have null, and I cannot. So what I can do is I can just remove and select all except the null values. That's what I can do. Or I could just also replace errors, but in this case I'm just getting rid of the null values because they're just not so much. So let me see. Okay, so what I could do is just to replace the value, then the null value um, with the one which occurs the most, or the most often. So in this case, I'll just group by, and I'll group by count to see what's the value, and also sort the count column by descending order. So in this case, I can see that the number 3 was the most or the most frequent one. So I can replace the null values, which are 7, with this one. I could also use another technique by using the average, but in this case, because it's just like a grade from 0 to 10 in in the level of happiness, uh, and also there are like not many people who choose or shows 9 or 10. It's better in this case to use the most repeated value. So in this case, I'll use 3. Okay, so I can just escape and go back with the steps here and here. So I'm undoing everything. So in this case, I'll just replace values null with 3. Okay, so as you can see now, we don't have any null values. Okay, so I'll just rename also the column as the following. But it seems now that it just okay. So I'll just say happiness level. And in parentheses, salary. Okay, I'll just do the same with this column if we have any null values. So we have null values which are 10 rows. Okay, so I'll just group by using count. Then I'll just sort in descending order. And the number 6 or the grade 6 is the most repeated value. So I'll use that one. So I'll go back and undo the steps. So I'll just replace values from null to 6. Okay, and now I don't have any null values after checking. And I'll just name this column happiness level, and in parentheses it was work life balance. Okay, also I just need to transform the data type. So in this case it has to be a whole number, not a decimal number, because we'll have 5.3 or etc. Oh no, I'm sorry, it has to be actually decimal number. So in this case I will just remove the step. I'll tell you why, because if we are making some transformations, calculations with these two columns, for example, what's the average happiness level for people who work in the healthcare industry? Okay, in this case, I want to have the exact grade, and it could be 5, no, I don't know, like 3.5 or 9.9 or 7.3. So, for example, if there are differences like like people who work in the healthcare industry have a happiness level regarding salary of 7, I don't know, 8.5. But the people working in I don't know, tech, they have 8 point, as I said, 8.5, but yeah, for healthcare, and for tech 8.7. So in that case, we can assume that people working in the tech industry, they have a higher happiness level regarding their salary. Okay, the next column, male or female, so we have only two values, and it has to be text. It's okay. So I'll just rename the column as gender. Okay, let's see current age. Okay, we don't have any null values. And the data type, it has to be whole number in this case, because there is like nobody uses like um, decimals in ages. For example, well, not in ages, but while using age, for example, I don't know, one person has 25.5 years old, or is or someone is 37.3 years old. No, we don't use that. We use the exact number. So I'll just rename this column and call it age. Then I'll go with this column and check the values. So again, I have other and just United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and India as the main values for this column. So I'll just split by delimiter. In this case, we have the after other, we need to split the column by the left um, parenthesis, and it has to be the leftmost delimiter. Okay, after I split it, I'll check. Okay, so we have Canada, India, other, United Kingdom, and United States. I'll remove this column, and I'll call this column country, and I'll check that it has to be text. And finally, highest level of education. I'll check the values. And as you can see, we have blank. So let's see how many blank rows are they. Okay, so a lot, like 52 out of like how many we have? Out of 630 rows. Okay, so in this case, I'll do the same as before. I'll group by the count, because in this case we don't have any way to measure anything like average or something. So I'll just see which value repeats the most, in this case bachelors. So we can uh, assume that the blank spots must be or could be bachelors. So I'll just replace that. I'll go back and I'll replace the values has to be, instead of blank, bachelors. I'll check. So we have now associates, bachelor's, high school, master's, and PhD. Okay, that's right. So we have everything we want. And now I'll just move the columns so that it's easier to read and to understand. So unique ID, current role, industry, programming language. Then the age, then the country, then the highest level of education. So I just rename this as level of education, the gender, the average salary, and then the questions on the survey. The average salary, the happiness level based on salary, and the happiness level based on work/life balance. Okay, so we have transformed our data, and now if everything is correct, we can move on creating the dashboard. So now I'll just click on close and apply here. I'll wait until it loads. Okay, so it's loaded. And now we can begin building our visuals. So I'll go to this part and I'll begin creating my visuals. Okay, so first I'll begin by creating the first visual, which is just uh, I'll just show the number of people in the survey. So for that, I'll use unique ID, but with I'll insert a cardboard for that. Okay, so this is a card, and the field has to be unique ID. But I don't want this value, I want the number of unique IDs. So I'll just count distinct, and we have our first value. Okay, next, I want to show with a gauge this one. I want to show, oh sorry, not that. Let me just redo. Okay, I'll change it to a card. And now I want a gauge or gauge, I don't know how to pronounce a gauge, to show the average happiness level in the survey. So we have happiness level here, okay, based on salary. I'll use this, but this is only the sum. This is the sum, but I want the average. Okay, so the average is 4.26. But remember, the grades were from, or yeah, the grades for it went from 0 to 10. But in this case, it's only showing the minimum, the average, and the maximum, or just like an average of the maximum or something like that. But I don't want that. I want with the minimum value, I want the minimum, and I also want as the maximum value as the maximum value. It was 10. Okay, so now I need to change the title. So for that, I'll go to Format Your Visual, General, Title, and I'll write average. Happiness level, parentheses, salary. Okay, and now just make it a little bit like this so that we can see. Okay, I'll create another gauge here showing also the happiness level, but regarding work slash life balance. So I'll select this. Okay, I'll drag it here, and as the same, I want the average, and I want to show the minimum and the maximum value here. I don't want the sum or anything. So the average is 5.75 out of 10. I'll change the title in going to format, general, title, and I'll write average, oops, happy, happiness level, work, life balance. And I'll make it smaller like this. And there we have it. Then I want to show the average salary by role. So in this case, I'll use a clustered bar chart. Well, maybe a stacked bar chart. I want it to be here. And as the y-axis, I want the current role to show the different roles. And the x-axis has to be average salary, because it's a horizontal bar chart. So in this case, you can see so we don't have to calculate here the salary because it's already the average. And as a legend, I want also the current role. Okay, so in this case, it used colors, different roles, and we have here above a legend, but actually I don't want to show the legend, I just want the colors. So for that, I'll go to format your visuals and I'll click on the legend and turn it off. Okay, now I want a stacked bar chart, 100% stacked bar chart. I'll put it right here. And no, maybe it's better to use a stacked column chart. Yeah, that's correct. I'll make it bigger. And in this case, I want to show the programming language per role. So I'll show in the x-axis the programming language, and in the y-axis the current role. Okay, but in this case I want the count. Okay, that's correct. And as a legend, I want also the current row. Okay, so now it's stacking every row. One on top of each other. So you can see Python gets the like it's repeated more than other than other roles, or just to say it to put it in another way, Python it's more often used in the data analyst role. So data analysts use Python a lot. Also students and other, but for data scientist and data engineer, it seems that Python it's not as used. And for R and other roles, Python it's and for the R programming language and other programming languages like data analysts are like repeated more. So I want also to change the legend, so I don't want it to appear here. but instead I want it to appear at the bottom. Okay, maybe the top right stack. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now I need to make this one a little bit smaller. And lastly, I want to show the average age. So I'll just use a card and I'll show age as a field, but I don't want the count, but instead the average age. So, but as you can see, we don't want the points here, the decimals. So I'll just do a new quick measure. Okay, so maybe it's better to create a new calculation. Okay, so this is going to be a new measure. Okay, the measure is going to be okay, so it's going to be round, average, age. I'll select this one. And since I don't want any decimals, I'll just do this. Okay, but here it says the minimum argument count for function is 2. Okay, so instead of round, I'll just use ceiling. Yeah, I'll just check. Okay, so that's what I wanted. So here, instead of this one, I'll replace it with this measure, which is average age. So I'll drag the field and put it right here. And the average age is 30 years old. So that's our average age. And we have everything. Now we need to just make it a little bit nicer. So for that, I insert a text box to show the title. So it's going to be survey dashboard. I'll drag it here. I'll make it bigger. I'll center it. And then I'll just increase the size. And put it right here in the middle. I'll also make it bold. Okay, nice. Okay, so now I'll just need to change. Okay, I don't know what's that. but I want to change the the background. So I'll just go to format your report page, canvas setting, oh no, canvas background, and for color, I'll just slightly gray. So that's why if I change it, okay, just a slight. So this is white, and I just want slight gray, like that. And also transparency, it will be a 50%. Okay, so you can see the difference between the canvas background and the visuals background. Okay, so now I want to group all of this. But for doing that, I need to use a shape. I'll use this kind of shape. So I'm working on the design now. So I need to make a rectangle a little bit bigger than the visuals. So I want to do this. Then I'll select it. I'll change the properties. No, the shape. I want to change the color. So it needs to be here, effects. Where is it? Advanced options? No. Title? No. Visual border? No. It was here, background. On. Oops. On. No. Shape. Oh, maybe style. Yeah, style. So I want it to be white. Okay, and then with border, I want the border to be off. And then I want a shadow. I will turn it on. And I want also a visual border, which has to be white. And I want the rounder corners, like about 15 pixels. Oops. Or maybe 20. Or 10. Okay, like 10, it's okay. And now I want to send it to the back. So you can see it's at the back, but okay, so it's not as big as I thought. So I just increase the size of it. Okay, I don't want this. And as you can see, it looks a little bit. Okay, maybe what I'm seeing is that some cards are getting out of the box. So I need to put this one inside. Okay, all of them are inside. So, okay, now looks better. Okay, And I also want to show a shadow, so effects with this visual shadow on, visual border on, color white, and rounded corners 10. Okay, much better. With this one as well, I'll format the visual. I'll go to effects, visual border on. I'll turn the color, switch the color to white, and in rounded corners 10 pixels. And I forgot the shadow. Effects, shadow on. So in this case, I want this visual to be just inside, something like this. And I want this to be in the middle. And also this one in the middle, so that's okay. But maybe the shadow is too much. So in this case, I want the shadow to be instead of uh, black, I want it to be gray. Yes, that's better. Because with darker shadow, it seems like too 3D. So I want the shadow to be gray. So that looks so much nicer. Okay, so now I just need to put this a little bit above the canvas. Okay, and also I need to get rid of this, the axis label. So I'll get rid of the title and also of the y-axis. I want to get rid of the title of. And with this visual as well, I want to get rid of the y-axis. Okay, so here I am at visual, title, off, and with y-axis, also title, off. Okay, so that looks cleaner and nicer. I just need to change the survey dashboard. Here I go to properties, advanced options, okay. Maybe, okay, to effects, background. Oh, sorry, and I need transparency to be 100 so that it's transparent. Okay, so yeah, now that's it. Here's the dashboard, and you can also, before finishing, you can use, we can change the filter, so we can use this visual, this graph, this bar chart as a filter. And also, okay, to that, I'll just sync slicers. No, I use this one, and this one as well. But I don't want to use this one as filter. So for that, okay, I'll just edit interactions. So I don't want this to be affected. And that's it. For the other ones, I want this to, for example, if I click on the analyst, you can see that some values changes. But in the case of this graph, I want it to, instead of just doing that, I want to edit interactions. Oops. Oh, sorry. From this graph, I want to edit its interactions. So this is not going to change. This one, instead of filtering, sorry, of highlighting, it's going to filter. And that's it. And with this one, the same. I don't want this cardboard to change. And here I want to highlight, only highlight. Okay. And these are going to filter, 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 filter. That's fine. And for this cardboard, I also want to display the category label, sorry, the title. Oh no. Instead of using count of unique ID, I want to rename the field just for this visual. So it's going to be number of people. Okay. So that's it. And for example, if I choose data analyst, you can see that now here it's filtering. So we can see better what's their favorite programming language. If I select data engineer, you can see their favorite programming language, the average happiness level based on salary and work-life balance, the average age, and for example with other, the average age is 32, their happiness level is different in both cases, and this is their favorite programming language. And also I want to change the title. So in this case it's going to be just programming language per role. And for this one it's going to be the title, average salary by role. Okay, that's better. And for example, if I select, I don't know, here, other, you can see it's going only to highlight here in the average salary by role graph, or for example, this one or this one. So you can see the level of happiness for each one, the average age, for example, for students. That's it. And we have finished with this dashboard. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow me All the data and all the files are going to be in my GitHub portfolio, my GitHub website. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.